Yo, what's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. So we're going to react to 10 WWE wrestlers who are in creative limbo. So I don't know if you guys feel the same way I do, but ever since Triple H came over and took over WWE, he has done a fantastic job with the wrestlers, with the storylines, from the big moments, everything a WWE fan would absolutely love. He has pretty much done it. But here's the thing. There isn't a singular era of WWE/WWF that is 100% perfect. And what's been keeping this era from getting closer to perfection is how he's been handling some of these wrestlers creatively. Okay. There's some wrestlers here who definitely need an overhaul to make their character a lot more interesting, or maybe even save their career. Now, I don't know if Triple H and the creative team don't see anything in some of these wrestlers, or maybe they're just like, you know what? We have something for them, but right now is the perfect time. So we got to wait until things clear out before we pull the trigger. But either way, we got to wait and see. And we're going to check out who made it on this list. Now, before we get started, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Join us for SmackDown Live tonight with the Flex Zone podcast. Let's get into this.
10 WWE wrestlers who are in creative limbo right now. Number 10, Naomi. Naomi deserves a ton of credit for betting on herself and going to TNA after her infamous WWE walkout. Naomi would be cemented as a face of their knockouts division, and Naomi managed to have nothing but fantastic matches, and it was a sign that WWE missed a trick with not featuring her in prominent roles more frequently.
I love that title.
Naomi would return in 2024, and while she remains incredibly over with fans, she spent the majority of the year being a side character in other people's stories. This has been seen predominantly with Bayley, as even though a heel turn looked to be on the horizon for the former women's champion, WWE completely dropped the angle between the two. And Naomi currently finds herself as one half of the tag team champions with Bianca Belair, and Naomi is likely to find herself in the middle of a storyline with Jade Cargill when she returns to television. But Naomi has so much more to offer the women's division, yet the continuous focus on other characters instead of her is kind of frustrating to watch. Number 9.
Yeah, so the thing was Naomi. I'm hoping with this Who Did It storyline with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, no matter what they do with Bianca Belair, at the end of it, they need to have Naomi turn heel. I think she will be a great cocky heel. I think she has that personality. I think she will be fantastic as a heel, and it'll do so much for her because we haven't seen her as this 100% true heel. So I think that'll be great right now. Now, in this whole situation with her and Bayley, where WWE stopped that angle, I got a feeling Triple H was like, you know what? Maybe the storyline isn't big enough to justify a heel turn out of Naomi. But now we got this story with Jade Cargill. This is big enough. This is a big enough story and a reason for her to be the culprit. I picked her from the beginning. That the day that it happened, I was like, Naomi did this. They need to make sure that that is the case. And the crazy part is, you got Jade Cargill fighting for her life in the hospital, at home, resting, probably, eating liquid foods and stuff like that, where you got Bianca Belair and Naomi matching and dancing and smiling like they never did anything. So that is a weird thing going on. And the point that he made, that she has been a third wheel, a part of this team, is the point that I made as to why she is that person who did this to Jade Cargill. I promise you that needs to be the angle. If it's not, I can't think of another reason to make Naomi turn heel. I really can't, but let's move on.
Natalya. Now, as a pro wrestler in WWE, it can be increasingly difficult to remain relevant through multiple eras. But one wrestler who has managed to do this is Natalya. Natalya first debuted in WWE at a time in which the women of WWE were barely given any screen time. She always had the in-ring skills to be a special talent, and when the women's roster began to be taken seriously around a decade ago, Natalya became a name that WWE knew they could count on. Now, in recent years, Natalya's role has been reduced on television, and in 2024 alone, the only headlines Natalya achieved related to a contractual situation, and she would eventually re-sign with the WWE in the summer months. In 2024, despite being still one of the most gifted in-ring wrestlers WWE have in the division, Natalya was barely featured on the main roster. Some fans have been speculating that Natalya has started a new career as a producer or even a trainer backstage, yet these rumors have yet to be validated, and Natalya just looks to be deadlocked in creative turmoil. Number 8.
First and foremost, I want to say salute to Denise. She's the one that was interviewing Natalya in that video. Salute to her, man. She's been doing good things, big things. I'm watching. Congratulations to you and your new contract with Busted Open. You're doing a fantastic job out here. I love to see it. I love to see it. But as far as Natalya go, why do I keep mixing people's name up? I like her. She's really good in the ring, very good, a very good technical wrestler. But if they were able to find something creative for her to do that would be very interesting, I'll be happy for her. That would be interesting. If she can be a heel for one of the mid-card champions and, you know, kind of be helped used to put them over, I'll be happy to see that. You know, if they put the championship on her at one point in time, the mid-card championship, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. But I kind of feel like that she is kind of a person that's at a point that is just putting people over, right? And a lot of people feel like that's disrespectful to say, but it's not, because it's not easy to put another talent over in a believable way. And I think Natalya, being as good as she is in the ring, she can definitely do that for a lot of people. Like, I would love to see her have a technical match with Lyra Valkyria, because I think both of them are pretty technically sound in the ring. So overall, if they find something for her, I'll be happy for her. If not, I will completely understand, especially if she has some type of role as a part of creative or a trainer in the PC, you know.
Austin Theory. The WWE have been teasing an Austin Theory face turn for months, and the more that time goes on, the less likely this turn is going to happen. The A-Town Down Under pairing is fantastic, yet Theory is certainly someone that WWE should be looking to play a role that isn't confined to a tag team. Theory at one stage was considered to be one of the favorites to be the new face of WWE, but evidently Triple H doesn't share the same creative vision for Theory. But that doesn't mean that the game isn't a fan of his work, as Theory is consistently booked on television, so he definitely sees potential there. Now, WWE needs to commit to the Theory face turn, as you can only tease something so many times before the fans lose complete interest, and WWE are entering dangerous creative territory when it comes to the former Mr. Money in the Bank. Number 7.
Yeah, and really quick, guys, I'm sorry for stopping it so much. I've been watching him since Evolve, and even back then I said if he ever come to WWE, he will have a ton of talent. He will be a superstar because he's young. And unfortunately, the way he's been booked with Triple H, it has not done him any favors. So he needs a face turn. They need some help in the mid-card division for sure. But the only problem is when you break them two up, it's like you sacrifice a tag team. And it's like, you know, if you look at the tag team division on Raw, it's kind of anemic, you know, based upon what's happening in SmackDown. So Triple H's got to figure something out for sure, or at least call up a tag team from NXT. It will be cool to see Fraxium get called up after Stand and Deliver. Then that would justify a split between the two of them. But at least they teased it in that match against Obafemi for the NXT Championship. But if they don't pull the trigger now, like they said, I don't think they'll ever do it.
Braun Strowman. No under Vince McMahon, Braun Strowman was regularly featured in major roles on television. Strowman worked with names such as Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and he even won the Universal title at WrestleMania. Now, even though it was under McMahon's leadership that Strowman was released in 2021, there's still an argument to be made that McMahon booked Strowman considerably better than Triple H. Triple H was the one who brought Strowman back into the company, and although Strowman's run hasn't been awful, he's nowhere near the main event scene, and it seems unlikely that this is changing in the coming months. Strowman is a credible name to have on the card, and Triple H's creative vision is clearly for Strowman to have him put over other talent. But the good thing about Strowman is that his popularity hasn't dipped, as he still receives great reactions on a weekly basis. If Triple H has a change of heart when it comes to Strowman, WWE could always alter his booking and subsequently alter his career trajectory. Number 6.
There's some people that I'm fine with just being a monster. I would hope, you know, maybe at some point he would get a upper card championship, or, you know, the world heavyweight championship, or maybe he's on SmackDown, so it would be the undisputed championship. But I think I think it's okay for someone to just be a monster, be a force. That is perfectly fine. Sometimes I don't think everybody needs to be this creative person who's in depth, who has this deep feelings and deep lore and all that stuff. No, everybody doesn't have to have that.
Shinsuke Nakamura. And when Shinsuke Nakamura won the US title at Survivor Series War Games, a lot of fans saw this as Nakamura's last chance to regain some momentum in WWE. Unfortunately, this reign has been abysmal, as Nakamura has been basically become a side character on TV, and fans have questioned why they even made him champion in the first place. Nakamura has since slowed down in the ring, and his character has been all over the place, and this has impacted the fan response to him in everything he does. It was extremely alarming when Nakamura barely received a reaction at the 2025 Rumble, and this was basically an indicator that Nakamura's WWE career is beyond saving. In fact, since winning the championship at Survivor Series War Games, Nakamura has only had one title defense, and that was a dark match against LA Knight on Raw. Like, what is WWE even doing at this point? Number 5.
WWE right now has been doing the whole we not defending our title thing across the board. You see Lyra Valkyria, you see what's going on with Shinsuke, you saw what happened with the men's the Raw Tag Team Championships, you saw what happened with the SmackDown Championship for a minute. There's been this dip of a lot of the champions not defending their titles. And unfortunately with Shinsuke Nakamura, every time they book him bad, I keep thinking about the moment he almost hurt John Cena. And that was the paradigm shift in his career where unfortunately I think that was going to be the best time he would ever get a World Heavyweight Championship. And now it looks like that's not going to happen.
Rey Mysterio. The booking of WWE legend Rey Mysterio has been frustrating to say the very least. Even though Mysterio is in the swan song portion of his career, he's still incredibly gifted in the ring, yet his storylines, particularly in 2024, were a total letdown. Yeah. WWE have mainly featured Mysterio in angles with the LWO. These angles have had good intentions, yet they've had mixed results. Mysterio is a WWE Hall of Famer and needs to be presented as such. They should take a look at a similar approach to how they book fellow legend Randy Orton, as they at least managed to use Orton in main event angles while simultaneously using him to elevate younger stars. Mysterio needs a genuine and organic to truly stick his teeth into, as it would be foolish to waste the final few years of Mysterio's run in the company. Number 4. Gunther. How is it possible for the world champion Gunther to be in creative limbo? Well, since winning the world title at SummerSlam 2024, Gunther's reign has fallen completely flat. He doesn't feel like a big deal, and for whatever reason, WWE have refused to allow him to feud with top names such as CM Punk, Seth Rollins, or even John Cena. Gunther has struggled to find a meaningful feud, and fans sometimes even joke that they forget that he's even world champion. Gunther had arguably the greatest Intercontinental title reign of all time, and the formula for his world title reign should have been similar. Triple H's booking of Gunther has been underwhelming and disappointing, and Gunther has now been cemented in a feud with Jey Uso leading up to WrestleMania. It's kinda weird because most of Gunther's defenses have come at WWE house shows. What happened to defending the belt on an actual PLE? Number 3.
Yeah, I'm not even going to consider the house show defenses. I mean, there's tons of people who defend their titles at house shows all the time. But when it comes to Gunther, yeah, I think looking at it in retrospect, the two things that messed it up for Gunther is, for one, the whole, I lost my confidence angle. That made no sense at all. And then, having him lose to Cody kind of devalued the World Heavyweight Championship a little bit. But I think really the problem is to have him become World Heavyweight Champion that quick after losing that Intercontinental Championship, because we saw what they can do the most with him while he had the IC title. So to not give that time some breathing room before he became World Heavyweight Champion to figure out exactly what they wanted to do with him creatively, I think it really hurt, because now it just feels like an extended, stint of the IC Championship. But at this point, it's like we're getting tired of the same thing. I love Gunther. I've liked him since NXT UK. But right now, this version of Gunther, especially since they've disbanded Imperium, and Louis Kaiser is basically a jobber at this point. Giovanni Vinci got released. It's like it doesn't feel the same. When he had 3 members of Imperium in NXT UK, when it was Martel Bartel, who was Louis Kaiser, Fabian Eichner, when they had those members, it just felt like it was bigger. It felt like a problem. But now it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really get it.
Andrade impressed in 2024 with his acclaimed multi-match series versus Carmelo Hayes. For the longest time, it looked like a certainty that he was going to be pushed into the main event scene. Sadly, since the feud with Hayes has come to a close, Andrade has been lingering around SmackDown with just nothing to do. SmackDown recently expanded to a 3-hour format, but this hasn't remotely helped Andrade, and it's almost as if WWE have no plans to make him a big-time player in the company. It's been questioned why WWE even bothered to bring him back if they didn't have any concrete plans for him, and the only person that could answer this is Triple H. Some fans have theorized that Andrade's divorce to Charlotte Flair may have negatively impacted his standing on the company, but these rumors and theories have no credence at this stage. Number 2.
Even though we don't know for sure, but I can argue he got over to WWE, instantly got into a match at WrestleMania, probably because of Charlotte. But then now, after the divorce and everything is happening, it's like, now that the way they're booking him after he lost the speed title is kind of weird. I mean, you can make a compare and contrast to the two, but you can't say for sure that that's the reason.
Wyatt 6. The WWE mastered the debut of the Wyatt 6 faction. The group looked credible, terrifying, and it was a perfect way to honor the iconic Bray Wyatt. Since the group's debut, WWE have clearly been selective in how they use the faction and how they've used him sporadically on television. Now, this is a smart idea on paper, as WWE would have definitely wanted to avoid the group being overexposed, but the group has barely appeared on TV at all over the past few months. They would book the stable in a feud with the Final Testament, which had a shocking outcome as the stable lost the feud, which didn't exactly help their credibility. But now it's been reported that Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy, is off the road, and this may have altered their creative direction. Now, it does look like WWE are moving forward with the idea of Alexa Bliss being involved in the group, which will hopefully reignite fan interest in the promising faction. And number 1, Chad Gable.
Yes, 100, bro. They're doing him so dirty.
Fans have spoken out regarding the booking of Chad Gable. During WrestleMania season in 2024, Gable was destined to collide with Gunther on the grand stage and seemingly finish his story by winning the IC title. Ultimately, this story would be given to Sami Zayn, and instead, Gable would embark on a heel turn. Whilst Gable's work with his new villainous character was superb, it still didn't lead him to winning a title in WWE, and he proceeded to spend the next 12 months putting over talent up and down the card. Gable was even tasked with getting over a new faction known as American Made, and in typical Gable fashion, he did a fantastic job, although WWE had never committed to presenting the group as a legitimate long-term threat. It was confirmed last year that Gable had re-signed with WWE, and since he's re-signed, he's basically been used as the established name that puts everyone over. Gable has lacked focus and direction, and it's a miracle that he's been able to keep his connection with the audience. WWE have even made direct reference to how it's Gable's aim to win a singles gold in 2025, and hopefully they actually put some effort into a sustained Gable push, and 2025 is the year in which he finally wins a singles championship in WWE. But there you have it, folks. 10
I think Chad Gable, amongst others, Street Profits or whatever, are probably the most frustrating people to watch because, like, Chad Gable, fantastic in the ring, has a great character. It's already there. It's all included. You don't really have to develop anything. You could just put him in something and give him a title reign and just give him something even remotely creative, and he will kill it. You're not giving him anything right now, and like they said, he's still staying relevant. So I do not understand this stuff. And this is why, for me, I don't hate it, but I'm not always for these long title reigns. Let's go back to the Attitude Era, bro, where people's title reigns were like 3 to 4 months long and they moved on to another person. Because when you keep having these long title reigns, you know, sometimes it's justified, but when you do, sometimes you skip out at a moment where you can catch lightning in a bottle when it comes to particular wrestlers. And if they keep these long title reign situations happening over and over and over for no reason, like right now with Braun Breaker, until they hinted at this feud between him and AJ Styles, he hasn't really been doing anything. He hasn't. And I think they could have done something a little bit more interesting with Chad Gable, even with a short title reign. You know, and I'm not talking about a Jey Uso title reign, but like just for a couple months. But at the end of the day, man, it is what it is, bro. What can we do? Let me know in the comment section if there's other wrestlers that did not make this list. I would love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your support. Salute. Peace. Have a great day.